Alright, so it was requested that I do a video, and so I will turn on my lights here and hopefully find my handy dandy thing here and see if I can get this set up so you guys can see what I'm doing. So, let me turn this off because I don't know. That is Jack. He's my puppy. So, it's really bright, isn't it? Bang. I decided I was going to start working on this to get some detail in it to kind of tell you like where it's going. Not done this before, so it's kind of interesting. Kind of feel like I need music. Should probably plug my phone in so that it doesn't die in the meantime. However, so I was just messing around. I got these new paints, which are really awesome. Unfortunately, I had a mishap, and they kind of exploded out of the bottom, and so I ended up having to try to fix them. Is that way too bright? Like, I can turn this off if that's better, and maybe turn this one on instead. Yeah, it's still too bright, huh? I'll point it over this way so you can up and over. So anyhow, these guys, the Art Sherpa opened a box a couple weeks ago that had these guys in them. I ended up going on Amazon and picking them up. The set, there's a set of 6. I just got these yesterday. There's a set of 6. This one has no label because it got washed off. But there's and I have one more. Oops, I've got fingers. Anyhow, so I ordered this one first, which is the violet, because if you haven't seen my Joker picture painting that I did, that is very cool, and I wanted to use more fluorescent luminous neon stuff to try and bring it out a little bit. I made it for charity. I also have these Craft Smart stuff. I honestly could not tell you how old they are. I've had them for a while, and I don't usually use them, but I was, like I said, trying to mess with stuff. I also have some older artist loft. I've got Craft Smart, which I work at Michael's, so I get a lot of this stuff. But it's actually pretty good. Doesn't cover as good, which is why I opted to getting these guys, because they said that they have better coverage. It is a heavy body, which is good. Actually, first time I've ever used heavy body. I generally use just basics, which I have a ton of. My art studio is kind of a mess right now. Actually, let's go this way. They don't see my kitchen. But yeah, this is my art studio and all of my paints. And like I said, it is a complete disaster right now. And I'm getting ready to ship out my first painting that I sold. So yeah, fun stuff. There's my Vigo that I've been working on. And, well, I have a ton of art in my place here. So anyways, let's see if I can get that tilted back the right way. It's gonna fall backwards. I shouldn't have moved it. If I knew how to edit, I could edit this. Okay. So anyways, I started playing around with it. I wanted to do it yesterday, but unfortunately ended up having to deal with the blowouts. Got them fixed and let them dry. So a friend of mine gave me this canvas, and it was actually a different picture entirely, which I will come over here and show you. It was this guy, and it is a 35 by 35. As I drop the canvas on the floor, it's actually paper. She spent a lot of money on the painting. It had a hole in it. She ended up having to duct tape the edges. She wanted me to make her a TARDIS, similar to this one, which I believe I did this one. You know, I didn't even sign it. That's so funny. Oh, I did. It's on the back. So this one I did April of 2015. One of the cooler things about this painting, and then I'll get to this, one of the cooler things about this lovely painting is, let me unhook this and see if I can show you. If you noticed when I flipped it over, it's black, and that is so that the windows glow. The idea behind this one was actually to, and you can see that there's like hardly any, you can kind of see it over here, but yeah, it's mainly to lighten it up. The idea was to get some LED lights and run them along the backside, which is a project all on its own, which takes money. So I haven't finished it. This I did completely, so many different layers. It's all sponge paint, except for the TARDIS. So basically what I did is I sponge painted it, and then sponge painted it, and then sponge painted it, layer upon layer upon layer upon layer, and that's what I got. The TARDIS actually was the first thing that I painted on it, so I ended up having to tape it off so that I could paint over it, because I really liked it and I didn't want to mess up my TARDIS. I have a lot of paintings that I've done over the last couple of years, and if you'll excuse me, I'll be right back. Yay! Sorry about that. Alright, so back to this. So, what I'm doing is I kind of added like where I wanted. First of all, when I painted it, I literally used this gigantic brush, which is super wet right now because I have it in my dirty water. I used this big old brush, which I usually use for my gessoing. And so when I started here, and I kind of started blending out. I live in a very, very dry environment. It is very dry here in Utah. I don't like Utah. I've only been here for 2 years. I'm a Seattle girl. But I started here and I kind of just went and just added colors and started blending. Well, the only unfortunate thing about doing it this way was when you start adding your acrylic glaze to it, it starts to thin out. And so that's kind of what started happening. I did use a little bit of the neon green Artist Loft. I ordered some of the, they do have green in this, and I have ordered it, so it should be here, hopefully in the next couple of days. However, I wanted to kind of just mess around with it. Since this canvas is kind of messed up anyways, I need to re-stretch it. Well, I need to get new canvas and re-stretch it. The frame is a really good frame. I didn't want to lose it. I'm actually supposed to be, like I said, doing a TARDIS for my friend. So I'm just messing around. I probably won't keep this. However, everybody says they like it, so maybe I will keep it. Maybe I will stick it on something. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I'll show you what I mean by it's all gross. Learning experience is what I found. So I've never stretched a canvas before. This is my first time. And I learned that when you get canvas wet, when you get canvas wet, what ends up happening is it shrinks. What do you know? So I found that out, and halfway through gessoing it. So that was a fun adventure. But yeah, I'm probably going to get, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. She just told me to keep it. So I think she's going to take me shopping tomorrow, and for her stuff. And so we'll see. We'll see what we can do. All right. So for me, I am using right now for my black and white, I've dropping everything. Got these guys. Never had used these before. Like I said, I work at Michael's. I'm actually the art captain, so I'm in charge of all of fine arts. I super got promoted. I'm so excited. I love my job. Anyways, so a lot of people were buying these. I see them in my aisle all the time. I restock them all the time. It wasn't until I watched the Art Sherpa that I actually knew what they were supposed to be for. So thanks for that. All this time I've just been thinning all my paints out with water. So I kind of been learning some new little tricks. I'm completely self-taught. The only art classes that I've ever taken had been in high school and junior high and stuff like that. So fun stuff. Didn't really start painting again until probably about 3 or 4 years ago. I did other crafts. I did Stampin' Up for a while. I've got tons of Stampin' Up stuff. I've got a Cricut. I mean, I got tons of stuff. So this is only part of my art studio. The other part of it is actually in the office where my wife is playing a video game right now. Okay, so for this, I really just wanted to show, the reason why I wanted to add the detail is I wanted to show the flow as to where I don't even know what to call them. I'm going to call them tentacles. I had no intent on anything in particular when I was painting this. Like I said, I was just messing with my paints. It turned out really awesome, so here we go. So I'm adding shading. I usually start out with a dry brush. And clean water would be awesome, but I don't have any right now, so I'm going to have to find me another brush, which I have a ton of, so that won't be hard. Maybe, possibly. Maybe. I like to use an angled brush for all of my shading. I am very abusive to my brushes. I don't know, that might be too bright. Anyways, I'm very abusive to my brushes. I do not clean them. However, I have a lot of brushes because I keep buying them. I have learned to clean my brushes and not let them soak in water. I don't, and I actually ended up buying my wife an entire set of her own brushes because I was like, I don't want anybody touching my brushes. But I have tons of brushes. Anyways, so angled brush. This one's pretty beat and battered. He's pretty stiff from all of the abuse and lack of cleaning, which actually makes him really good for dry shading, which is awesome. So what I typically do, since I don't have cool guy cameras and all that schnaz, I just take my white, kind of get it on the brush. Like I said, don't dip the brush in water. Make sure you don't get, just kind of tap it off, and make sure that there's not a lot, there we go. There's not a lot of paint on the brush. If I need more paint, I can add more paint. I don't like a lot when I'm doing this technique. But, so, this guy here, he comes underneath and goes out. So, I'm going to start with this guy here that's on top. And what I'm going to do is start shading him kind of in. I can also add, since we're kind of doing a little bit of shading type stuff, I might actually mix this and make this a little bit darker, like a light, well, like a light black. Gray, that's it, yeah, gray. So I'll just kind of do that, make it a little gray. I'll start up here where the tentacle kind of should be at, and just kind of go in like that. And I might need a little bit more paint. I may have not enough, and I might have too much. I just kind of gotta feel it out, you know? Tap it off. Make sure I don't have a whole slew of paint on there. Tap, 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 tap. It's really hard to see this. There, is that better? This guy, maybe. I swear I'll get the lighting figured out. It's just too bright in here. I have too many lights. Anyways, just kind of tap it off. Tap, 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 tap. Don't want a lot on there. See? Don't want a lot on there. Anyways, so let me see if I don't think I can bring this up because I don't have anything to put it on, but I can move this closer. It's a learning experience for everybody. Alright, so if I do that, that's going to shine that out. Okay, so maybe I'll just take this kind of here and kind of just feather, I guess is what I would call it. Feather it along. Very light pressure. I'm barely even swiping the canvas here. And I just kind of go up to his tip and go like that. Kind of gives it a little bit of like, okay, this is there. Now that I've got a little less of my paint on here, maybe I'll go in and kind of do one of these, kind of. Now, I'm going to paint on my mom's painting. I'm going to take a little bit more black. Not a lot. And I'm going to kind of dab him off. So not a lot of black. I don't have my brush filled or anything like that. Kind of tap him off a little bit. And I'm just going to go right along where I just went. And kind of do the same thing. And take it little parts by little parts. I don't do a lot all at the same time. Big paintings for me are becoming difficult, so it's kind of a learning experience. I'm going to put some of my glaze down for this next part here. So I'm going to take a little bit more black. Just a little bit. Tap him off. Barely anything on there. Hardly at all. And I'm going to do another swipe at this. Like this. Now, it should pretty much be black at this point. Then I'm going to take a little bit of my glaze. Kind of tap him off a little bit. And I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to start in the dark and kind of work my way back down to the light. And another thing that you could do too is just kind of go back and forth if that's beginning to blend it out too much to where it's not looking like you want it. You can go the opposite way. It all depends on which way you want to go. For me, I am just trying to give it directionality, to let you know that this isn't one solid piece, that it does have it. I'm trying to break it up basically, and just kind of give it some oomph here. Now, if you find that your shading is kind of you're losing the darkness in this area, you can just go back with a little bit of black just kind of work it up into that. And since you already used the glaze on it, it should blend really nicely. And maybe I'm gonna blend this guy out right here. I don't really like how that's cutting off. So maybe I'll just blend and feather this guy in. Very light pressure. See how it kind of blended that back out so it doesn't look as sharp as like, oh, I started here. So just kind of go down like that until you're happy with it, you know? It's all about having fun. I mean, like I said, I didn't start this painting going, oh, this is what I'm going to do. A lot of my paintings, I do that. I sit here and I think, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? As I look at all my paintings. And then I do stuff for other people. And sometimes I can't get motivated to do it because it's not something that I want to do. So, I would say just play around, you know, just mess around and see what effects you like. One of my favorites is this dry technique. I do it a lot on a lot of my paintings. I used to just paint black and white. So if you notice, I have a Wolverine here. Actually, my wife is the one who did that one. And it's not finished. And I think we started it in like 2013, 2012, something like that. So she hasn't finished it. And my little mermaid, which is a zombie, by the way, a zombie mermaid, she's not finished. She has no face. So I haven't done that yet. So I do get distracted. I start working on other stuff. However, now that I have my own little art space, I actually am doing it more. So I try to do like 1 or 2 paintings a week whenever I can. These are cute if you guys have never seen these. Whoa. So anyways, just kind of play with it until you kind of get where you're comfortable with it. You can always add color back in. You know, you can't really make mistakes with any kind of acrylics. Maybe I want this to be a sharper edge here. So I'm going to take maybe a little bit more black and just kind of feather that in a little bit and make it a little bit more of a dramatic line there. You know? Just kind of play around with it. I kind of added these really aren't going to be like this, but I just kind of put them in there for my eyes so I know where and what I'm doing. My paint is drying out really bad. So I want to show you. Okay, so one of the things that I love, so I bought this recently because it said that you could let the acrylic dry on it and then you can peel it off. It sounded like a great idea for me. The only problem is if you put gesso on it, it does not come off. The little stuff like this, it has a hard time coming off. So I end up actually scrubbing this. So about a month ago, I actually invested in a Stay Wet, which this is not the other half that I want. So I don't know where my other half is. So Stay Wet, it has a thing for, you can actually do your watercolors on this side, which is kind of cool. It comes with these specialty papers. This one is left over from the rainbow lips that we did. And anyways, so the paper is like actual paper, but it's not. It's different. You have to soak it in water. It has a pad. I do have a mini version of it because it was my birthday at the beginning of the month, and my mom sent me a mini version. So originally I got that guy so that I could do my Vigo. And I didn't want to waste all my paint because I hate wasting paint. And so my mom, see, I've got lots of different stuff on here. My mom actually sent me this from Amazon. So these paints, probably been in here about 2 weeks. 2 weeks is how long these guys have been in here. I'm trying to find a brush. And if you look here, I can actually still paint with them. And these are from this is from the Mother's Day cards that I was doing. And the really cool thing is you wouldn't think that this would actually be stuff that you could play with, but you can. So if you want to invest in a really good palette, I suggest, especially if you're not the kind of person to finish a painting all in the same day like me. But I'll kind of show you here. So there's a pad that goes underneath like this, and you get it wet, and then this is the paper, and you can get refills of this paper. It comes with 5 typically, but you soak it. I actually microwave mine. I stick mine in water for about 6 minutes until it's boiling, and then I let it sit there for about 15 minutes. The longer you wait, the better. But basically it provides, oh look, my battery's gonna die. It provides the moisture that you need, so then you can just put it, and even the top, I mean, I could still probably get another brush. I could probably, no, I guess not, never mind, the top doesn't. But anyways, it is really good if you're like me. It is by Mastersons. It's called Stay Wet Handy Palette. There you go. I love this. Like I said, I have 2. I have a big one and a little one, and I'm probably going to end up getting more. So since my battery's about to die, I guess it's going to have to be done. As far as the background goes and how I did it, water works best with these, as what I found out. So using the acrylic actually thins it out, and you end up with, I will grab this. So this is where I started in this area. Like I said, I used the bigger brush. You get really good coverage, which is good. And I kind of went up here, and actually started here and went down here. I actually ended up switching brushes at this point, and it actually ended up covering way better. But you can see I started using the glaze with it, and if you like the effect, then definitely use it. But I do not like the effect that it was doing here. Up here was fine. These blended really well together, but when you get down to the oranges and stuff, it didn't blend very well. But basically, this is how the Artist Loft will blend. It doesn't blend very well at all. I don't know if it can pick it up in the camera, but it is not very pretty. This is like where I stopped using it, and I have a... Anyways, so that is that. Let me switch this around and kind of give you an overview of kind of what it looks like. Yeah, see, I hate that. It glows in the dark there. But yeah, you can... It does cover really, really well. It's probably one of the best acrylics with the neon that I've actually used. Like I said, the Artist Loft and stuff like that, they just don't have the coverage, so it just kind of makes it hard to paint with, you know, the craft paint, which is super thin anyways, doesn't have a lot of pigment. And this is a level 1 with not a lot of pigment in it either. So I really like these paints. My thing, yeah, I do have a rat up here. I used to be a rodent inspector when I lived in Seattle, and this is my rat. Anyways, hope you guys liked it. I hope if you have any questions, just comment, and I'll see you next time. Not to steal anybody's punchline, sorry. Bye.